Hey, welcome to the first official episode of AFK Show. I am Robert Weber.
And I am Ken Weiss.
Forgive the crudeness of our set today. We are still in the process of building an actual studio, but we figured we would try and do an actual show for you to kind of get things rolling and see how this goes along.
Yeah, we're actually trying to do maybe a weekly show at some point, but if we can get something out once a month, that'll be a big milestone.
Yes, we're working on it. We're understaffed and no budgeted, and we do this in our spare time, so bear with us.
Yeah, the new studio will be pretty cool once it gets done, and we're hoping to do a live call-in show because we have that technology to do live.
We have the technology.
And also access channel. So here in Austin, plus I don't think they can simulcast it in other stations like Houston or Dallas, but we can send, I know for sure, we can send copies to other stations and they can run it on their channels.
And we could also do live internet broadcasts as well.
Well, yeah, the live internet broadcast will be the first live shows that we'll do. And then we'll go to the access channels live via our internet broadcast. And then if we get enough interest, we can always go to Time Warner, because we do have connections at Time Warner Communications to put this on their on-demand channels in Texas.
So basically, support us, help us get bigger, and we can give you better stuff to watch.
Well, okay, first let's talk about what is AFK. Let's talk about that first.
AFK. You gotta love the name and the irony of it, first of all, because it is away from keyboard. But you're at your keyboard, watching us. Mind trip. But what we do is we're gonna be talking about comic books. I'm a bit of a comic book nerd, if you can't tell. I look like a nerd. He just looks goofy.
Nerd.
Comic books, video games, sci-fi, fantasy, movies, cons, obviously. If you've seen our footage from Wizard World cons and UshiCon and OwlCon and
Whole bunch of other cons.
other stuff.
I mean, I think really we have got a schedule that if everybody accepts our press credentials, literally we could be doing a show every weekend, a con. And I didn't even know there was that many cons, honestly. I mean, between anime, gaming, sci-fi, comic conventions, what else? I mean, just all sorts of cons. I've never even knew that there was this much fandom, I guess, out there.
Yeah, the fandom world has definitely exploded in the last several years. I can think back to when I first moved to Austin in 2000, and we had one Comic Con back at the old, what was that, the Palmer Center used to be there on 290. That's the Virginia Tech now or whatever.
Oh yeah, that was the Crockett Center.
And yeah, Crockett Center, and it was one tiny little Comic Con, and that was like the last one we had until Wizard World came here 3-4 years ago. So Austin hadn't even had a Comic Con in almost 10 years.
Well, this is before your time, but because you were living in Fredericksburg. Well,
right.
You probably weren't even born until like 82. Yeah. So, but in the early 80s, I remember like downtown at it used to be the Palmer Event. It's the Palmer Event Center now. It used to be the Palmer Auditorium. but they actually did have Star Trek conventions.
Oh,
But
yeah.
this was years, like 30 years ago,
Well,
and they weren't nearly as
when
big.
I was in junior high, I came to Austin with my buddy who was a huge Trekkie, and he got me into Star Trek. And we came to the convention center. It was a big creation Star Trek con. That was my very, very first con. So that was here in Austin, but that was years ago, back in the early '90s.
Hmm.
And now creation pretty much only does stuff like Brownie or Brownie or what are the My Little Pony crap. And
Oh yeah,
Twilight.
that reminds
Yeah.
me because we did get a thing for the Brawny. Is
Brawny,
it Brawny?
something like that.
Yeah,
We don't care what it's called. It's gay.
yeah, but we're probably going to cover it anyways
Yeah, but we just don't care what it's
because it is part of fandom. It's part of it's part of what we do. I mean, we're going to cover those things because somebody out there, and of course, it brings us more viewers, and
called. We're not picky.
we're not picky at this point. Maybe later we'll kick them out, but
Yeah.
you know, somebody somewhere will watch that video, and who knows, maybe Japan or somewhere, because I don't know where My
Yeah.
Little Pony is really that popular. I mean,
I know it's popular with the furry crowd, just
Well-
because I lived with a few for recently.
well, it was
yeah.
funny because there was a furry convention just earlier this month, February, up in Dallas.
Oh, the
or Fort
furry
Worth. Yeah,
fiesta or whatever.
Furry
Fiesta.
Fiesta. Yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah, some of
but-
my former roommates went to that.
Well, I was thinking about going to that just to cover it because I don't know really what furries are. I mean, yeah, I get it. They dress up in, you know, mascot
Furry
costumes. But really, what is it? I mean, why? Why, you know, that's, I guess, really, that's kind of the question we're trying to ask is why? Why do people go to cons? Why do they dress up as their favorite superheroes or
Well, that
villains
one-
or whatever?
That one I can kind of explain. Is to show your love and support for the characters. Or in my
Yeah.
case, when I did my Blue Lantern, it was because Jeff Johns, you stole my Blue Lantern idea. I created that in 1992, and I will kill you.
Well,
Or at least make you give me a job at DC. One of the two.
Yeah, but what's really funny is the fans come out to these conventions, they support the TV shows and the movies, but then you have to pay 30 or 40 bucks for a signature,
Yeah, and
which
it
is
wasn't
kind of funny.
it wasn't always that way, but so I remember when I met James Doohan and George Takai. I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong, George, but I still love you. Like,
Like he's going to be watching this.
hey, I'm friends with him on Facebook. You never know. He may like us, and he's a pretty cool dude. But yeah, like when I met them back in the '90s, they didn't charge for autographs. And the first time I met Marina Sirtis, she actually wasn't able to do autographs because she had blown out her back. And it was actually a funny story. She was standing up, and as she was like bending up, she sneezed and
Okay.
dislocated her, like a whatever in her back.
A disc.
Yeah, so she she was up there talking. She had this big back brace on, and she's like, "I'm so sorry, I can't sit and sign autographs, but I promise, if you leave your address and your name, I will send you an autograph picture."
Well, that was kind of cool.
So yeah, that was really cool of her. And then met John Delancey at one Q. He was a pretty cool guy.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be at plug-in this
Plug.
Space City Con in Houston in August.
August. We
See,
will be
and-
there.
And not only that guy, the guy that plays Q, but the guy that plays the holographic doctor.
Robert Picardo.
There you go. See, I don't know this stuff. Useless information. That's all it's in there. But he is supposed to be the MC of Space City Con. The reason I was plugging Space City Con is because I got to meet the promoter of Space City Con, George, and he's a fantastic guy. So you'll see more of him in future episodes and stuff down the road. So,
Yes, he's hopefully going to give us the hookup to some.
well, I wouldn't say that yet.
Well,
I
yes.
wouldn't say that yet.
hopefully help us get our foot in the door
Basically,
to get some hookups.
if we're talking about working together, Space City Con is in their second year this year. Last year, he said they had around 2,000 participants.
Not
They're
bad for-
hoping, they're shooting for 10,000 this year. But he said it would probably be more like 5 to 7. But, hey, that's not bad for a second year
Yeah,
con.
that's not bad at all for a second
And
year
he's
con.
got some really good, you'll see that at the end of the credits. We'll show you all the cons we'll be attending. Of course, we haven't gotten to that because it's in August, so you'll see what's coming up in the next 3 months or so from here. Up until June, I think I applied for credential.
And I'll plug my other project that I am
Oh, yeah, that's good.
currently trying to work on. Since 2013 is the 75th anniversary of Superman, and I am a huge, both metaphorically and literally, Superman fan. I'm Meatloaf Jr. I'm not in denial about it. We're in the pre-stages of production of working on a documentary that I'm calling Finding Krypton. Our goal is to interview people not only here when we go to cons and stuff, but also to raise the money via GoFundMe, Kickstarter, all those
Indiegogo, yeah.
all those other fun sites, to actually go up to Superman Celebration in Metropolis in June and do a big filming and interviews and hopefully talk to some big names in Superman world, like the guy that runs the Superman Museum up there. But the focus really is what I want to focus on is our stories, the fans' stories, and why Superman is like such an influence in your life and what inspiration he's had on you and stuff like that. So we have a Facebook page for that too, so go over there and like it. But Facebook's getting ridiculous because like I found myself on Facebook actually. Another guy who's also a Superman fan who has my name from Florida, and I tried to send him a message. They wanted to charge me $1 to mail the guy a message, and it was like, charge $1 and it'll guaranteed go to his inbox, or otherwise it may go to spam or whatever. And I was like, screw you, Facebook. I'm not paying you money to send someone a message. So
Wait, you went to the messages.
yeah, I went to
Clicked
his
on
profile and I was going to send him a message.
Well, if you're his friend, right, can't you just
yeah, well, it was
go
before I
and-
added him as a friend.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like, you are not currently connected. Would you like to send a message for $1? And I was like, no, I would not like to send a message for $1. I'd like to send a message for free.
Why can't you just send a friend's request
Yeah,
and wait
I
till
did.
they reply to your friend's
Well, yeah.
request? I mean, there's an odd chance he could say no, but
Well, he didn't, and we're buddies.
well, yeah, you have the same name,
And we're both Superman fans.
I know. So, and it's
I'm multiplying.
I know.
I'll come for your souls.
The basic format will usually consist of some kind of industry news, whether it be whatever,
Upcoming movie news or releases.
movies, new video games, new videos, DVDs.
What's going on in comics, maybe, stuff like that.
New gadgets or something that's coming out. Like I know, like Attack of the Show had like they were doing cell phones, because I remember I have the Galaxy Note, and that was one of the shows I watched on Facebook or YouTube, and I was like, what's this got to do with nerds or whatever? But I guess people were watching
Nerds
it.
like
So
technology.
we'll do like crap we found on the
It's
internet.
crap we found on the internet. Videos, funny stuff.
Yeah, people hurting themselves and filming it. Oh, user submissions. That's right. We want to have, like, hey, send us something. Like, if you live in California and you go to some con, we
Take
want
a
to know
video
about
camera.
it. Yeah.
Do a little 5-minute clip and splice it together and send it to us.
And all those are subject to review before they're posted on our page or whatever.
Yes. Don't
So,
don't be stupid.
but hey, we want to see that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So, because we can't, like I said, we're just in Texas. There's a con every weekend somewhere from whatever. Like we're going, yeah, middle of this month, the 15th, I think it is, 15th or 16th of March. I said this month. It's next month, March. Is the pinball convention. So I'm going. I'm going to go cover that con because it's a convention that somebody may be into pinball games, pinball machines.
Pinball wizard man.
Yeah, so why not? And then I looked at there's 2 or 3 cons here in Texas that's solely related to operating a commercial haunted house. So if you want to learn about all the latest hydraulics and pneumatics and makeups and costumes and one of them up in Dallas has like on Saturday they have Hearst racing and stuff like that.
Hearst.
Hearst,
Not a hearse,
Hearst, yeah,
but a Hearst.
Hearst, yeah, Hearst racing and Hearst show. They have a parade, a Hearst parade too.
That'd be kind of cool to see, actually.
So, I don't know. That's not really like comic books or anything like that, but it's still like, I don't know, it's kind of nerd related in a way.
We embrace all.
It's
Nerdiness.
a fandom, it's, so. And then, I guess the last thing we're going to cover would be events we've already covered or will be covering in the near future. And we'll just post a list. Probably give you a review on cons that we've already covered. Probably spend 5-minute reviews or whatever on that. And then have a list, a calendar at the end of the show that says what cons we'll be at. And if you happen to be at those cons, we're usually going to be there on a Saturday, unless like Wizard World, we'll be all 3 days there. Eventually, sorry about that. Eventually, we'll do things like if we ever get into like Sci-Fi Con or some of these other ones that maybe are larger cons because you really can't do some of the smaller ones like UshiCon. That was definitely just a 1 day or half a day thing. AlCon, also again probably a half a day con. There's probably another dozen or so cons out there in San Antonio and Dallas and Houston that'll be 1 day events because they're just not really that big yet.
Right.
So. But the big ones like, Wizard World's Comic-Con here, which is a 3-day event. We'll be there all 3 days, typically. We were this year, yeah. And we filmed just about every panel in the big room. I mean, they had 2 panel rooms. Maybe we could film both panel rooms this year. Because we could really just cover it with 1 camera.
Yeah. That's why I tried telling you last year.
Yeah.
You don't listen to me.
Well, we can do some magic of TV and do things. So.
And we may have a booth at Wizard World this year.
Well, the other thing too was the fact that we could probably get booths at almost all these cons as fandom.
Yeah, as a fan
club
group.
Or whatever, fandom group or fan group, whatever you want to call it. Well, plus, wait, what are we doing with Starfleet?
We have the USS Arturius Facebook page, linked up on AFK page. We are not yet an official chapter of Starfleet. However, the Navrous from Dallas is willing to be our mothership and sponsor us. Once we have to actually sign up and join Starfleet and all that. But that will be like our official ship, and it also will be like an Austin area chapter of Starfleet to go along with. There's the Archangel and Round Rock, but they're not a ship; they're a station. And then it's like the Zavala out of San Antonio. There's several in Texas, but
Is
it's
there an
in,
actual chapter in San Antonio?
yeah, it's the Zavala or
And how many? Do you know how many people are in their chapter?
I don't know. I know the Navarus is actually the biggest one in Starfleet now.
Really?
They
Wow.
actually like their main one with Cody, who's the captain, Captain Cody. They're based out of Dallas, but they actually have Navarus chapters in California, in New York.
Good lord.
I think there's one in Wisconsin.
Maybe
Uh,
that's his full time job.
maybe he's a crazy dude, but that's kind of our idea is to join that, and that would be our another little project that we do, and it'd give us another in into a lot of conventions because we can go in
As a fan group.
as a fan group, and supposedly at Wizard World there are people who do like podcasts and stuff, and they have booths, but they have fan group booths as opposed to media booths,
right.
which
I think
are
we looked
expensive.
last year. I think it was last year we looked, or maybe the year before. But it seemed like a media booth was like $1,100 or $1,200,
Yeah,
and for us, $1,200 would be like a whole year's worth of advertising for AFK. So, not to say we wouldn't get a lot of people, but I mean, how many people were at Wizard World this year?
yeah.
It couldn't have been 20,000.
It was probably over 10.
Yeah, it was
But
probably over 10, but
I would say probably between 10 and 15. I think was the total.
one of the cons that we did at the beginning of February was UshiCon, and it's an anime con. It's actually the first anime con we went to,
Well, strictly anime.
strictly anime. So tell us a little bit about what you thought.
Uh, well, it was a lot smaller than I thought it would be, but not necessarily a bad thing. It was nice that it's 18 and over, so you don't have all these stupid little like Naruto or however the hell you say that stupid name kids running around going, believe it, believe it, believe it.
I
So-
just thought it was Naruto's. I thought it was funny when you said that on the video.
Yeah, I've heard it said 5
with
different
Greg.
ways. Yeah. So that part was nice because you didn't have all the annoying little kids. Quite a few costumes going on. They had a little dealer room. Had a cool little cat maid cafe. Some very cute cat maids. We didn't get to sample the food, but it smelled good.
Oh, the other thing was that Greg, he's the PR guy, right? No, he was the
con chair.
Yeah, so Greg, we asked about the food there because we asked,
I was
Was
asking if it was
how
like $10
expensive,
for a
yeah.
soda.
and so he said no, it was reasonable price. So, I guess if you're cosplaying, it's a little hard to go over to Dairy Queen or McDonald's or something and get something and you're all dressed up. Although people who cosplay usually don't care what other people think when they dress up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I dress up in my armor, I think that's kind of cool. I'd be walking around, people setting off all kinds of like alarms at the stores and
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, I've gone to Ren Fair and gone in restaurants and whatnot in garb and stuff. I don't care. They did a lot
you know
of.
what? That's funny because Ren Fair you go in garb,
yeah.
but like cons it's cosplay. So what's the difference there?
Terminology.
I mean, it's just
It's
interesting.
all cosplay when you think about
Well,
it.
yeah, because when you go to Ren Fair, it's the same basic principle. It's just you think about it, they say garb.
Rennie's had already had dibs on garb, so
Oh, so you can't say I'm dressing in garb to go to the con.
I guess you could, but
I probably
back to
would.
UshiCon. Another thing they had that was kind of cool is they had lots of rooms set up, screening different animes.
Yeah,
One-
panel room.
Yeah, one little panel room or 2 little panel rooms.
Yeah, it
Was
was
it one or
probably one
two?
of the bigger rooms that was there was the panel room.
Had a couple little panels going on. Uh, so I mean, if you're really into anime and you just want to hang out with other people that are really into anime, it'd be a good place for you to go check out. I think. Yes.
Well, and we look forward to it next year. And I
Yes.
think their website is something like
Dot
www.ushicon.com.
com. .com.
Which-
Ken is going to tell us all about Alcon.
And somebody asked me, why was it named Alcon?
Yes, somebody
Somebody.
asked you.
And,
Why is it called Alcon?
Well, it's called Alcon because it's on Rice University and they're the owls. So therefore Alcon. But if you go see our little video on YouTube with Angelo, the interview with Angelo, he discusses a little bit about what Alcon is, but it's a student-run organization. I forget the name of the organization. But it's, a regular student club on campus. He's actually also not only the coordinator, the PR coordinator, but he's also their faculty sponsor, which I didn't know until later. So, um, anyways, Alcon is a strictly gaming only con. It's 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They do have an anime room there, which he talks about in the video. They have LARPing, which live action role playing, for those that you don't know that.
I miss LARPing.
And on Sunday, they did have a steampunk LARPing, something to do with the Western theme, because they were asking everybody to wear a Western theme steampunk. And they were actually using Amp Guard combat rules. So. That would have been cool, but that was on Sunday, and it's 170 miles to Houston, and I wasn't going to stay and drive back, and then drive back the next day, and so we didn't really get a whole lot of footage of like any LARPing. But if you do go, there is an interview with Eric of the USS Rita and the Artemis Starship Bridge Simulator software, and that's a really cool looking game, a video game.
It's really awesome
And
looking.
for $40, you get to play all 6 stations. You get to have 6, basically whatever copies or however it all works. But 6 people can play with one $40 license, and go watch that interview. It's pretty cool. So. I think next year I probably will attend longer next year. They do have guest panels. They have a vendor room. They have many gaming rooms. They have like 5 buildings on campus that they use for gaming. So there's 2 large rooms, and then there's 5 other buildings with classrooms that each classroom is its own game or whatever game system that's going on.
Hopefully,
and they have board games, they have miniatures, historical miniatures, they have LARPing, of course. They have they don't have any video games. I had asked Angelo about that, and they don't really have any way to do video games.
yeah, so
So-
you'd have to set up network of some sort.
Yeah, he did say that their IT department kind of frowns on people getting on their internet and using it for gaming. So,
Understandable for a college, I guess.
but yeah, it was a really cool thing. We met a lot of neat people out there. We met Angelo; he's a real nice guy. George with Space City Con, he's a pretty cool guy. We look forward to meeting him more in the future. And I definitely, if you're in the Houston area, go to that con. Really, if you're in San Antonio or Austin, it's an easy couple-hour drive, well worth going, at least for the afternoon. And if you're really into gaming, that's the place to be. And look at that. The 2 videos that are out there show all the show all the neat games and stuff going on out there. So the 2nd and 3rd of March is the first
StapleCon.
weekend. Is StapleCon Independent? What
Comic
Independent?
Expo, I think, is the official
No,
full
it's
name.
like independent published.
Yeah, it's all indie comics and books and
Artists
and
all kinds of independent.
I've been a couple of years ago. It's pretty cool. They have some pretty neat stuff there.
And that's like staple-austin.org is their website, because they have a weird. They don't just pop up at the first. Because when you put StapleCon Austin or StapleCon, you get like Staples office supply, and there's some other staples before you get to StapleCon. So, and then let's see, on the next weekend
It will be
is
All
Con Dallas, which that's a little of everything, I think.
Yeah,
it's
it's
All Con, right?
general sci-fi comic convention, at least from what I understand of it.
And from what I've read off their website, I mean, they go like almost 24 hours there. Then the 23rd,
We will be going to Sherwood Forest Renaissance Fair.
Yeah.
Probably won't really be doing any filming because my old buddy's coming back on leave from the Army, so that's what we're doing to go hang out because I ain't seen him in years. But Sherwood is definitely a very cool little Ren fair. He's never been yet. Slacker.
It's only been around like 3 years.
This will be the 4th year.
Yeah, I was waiting for it to make sure that it wasn't like Camelot or what was the other Excalibur.
Unlike
They're
Camelot
like
and
2
Excalibur,
years,
but they actually Sherwood already had a permanent structures and stuff built to begin with. But anyway, it's a smaller fair. It's the 3rd biggest in Texas. Obviously, TRF is the biggest, and then Scarborough. And then Sherwood.
Well, wait, are you sure? Because there's like 3 or 4 other fairs in Texas that are.
As far as I know,
there's
it's
a Friendship Fair, and then there's that one down by.
As far as I know, it is the 3rd biggest. As far as I know,
I could be
wrong.
I don't know. There are lots of Ren fairs in Texas too.
Its first year, it was in Renaissance Magazine. It was voted best new Ren fair. It's pretty cool. It's like I said, it is smaller. It's about half the size of Scarborough Fair. If you've been there, I think it's the actual fair. I think it's like I want to say 15 acres, somewhere along those lines. But what I like about it, unlike TRF, they have not sold their souls. They are not a theme park like TRF has basically become. But unlike Scarborough, while they are family friendly, they're not obsessed with being everything must be PG. So Scarborough is very uppity about.
Yeah, I was thinking TRF, and I'm like, are you crazy? TRF has always been not family friendly.
One thing I really like about Sherwood is if you camp, everyone who camps has to have a wristband. So you don't get the stoner, drunken, raver, party kids in the campgrounds all night.
I know. I mean, that's really what's ruined TRF.
Going around stealing all your stuff. Perhaps the coolest thing about Sherwood is they have the full contact jousting. Mm-hmm. This is not the choreographed balsa wood lances. These guys are wearing full plate armor. They are
mine.
Better than yours.
Oh, mine is SCA regulation, though.
Barely.
Well,
barely.
It's 16 gauge, I believe.
I'm pretty sure theirs is much thicker than yours.
What, 14 probably, maybe?
I don't know. Go and ask them.
I will.
That'll be something good for you to talk to them about.
That's right.
I mean, they're not riding.
You still pad all your inners,
and they're not riding little ponies. They're riding full size war horses. I mean, it is pretty intense watching that. It's pretty cool. They
They had they had an ad on Craigslist looking for volunteers
I bet
to help with that show.
they. I think it was last year or maybe the year before. They actually had the national championships out there for the jousting. We wanted to go out there and film it, but we just didn't have time to get in
We
touch
had
with
other
them.
stuff going on too. So,
But so that's pretty cool. If you're in the Austin area or even Houston or whatever, if you are a Rennie, you like Ren fairs, definitely worth going, checking it out. Like I said, there is camping. I wouldn't try taking an RV out there. Even on their website, they recommend against that. I don't know the website address offhand because they've changed it recently.
we'll get it. We'll post it.
Be somewhere, but it's Sherwood Forest Fair. So check it out. It's fun times.
Okay, so then after Sherwood is what's that?
That's the Star Trek thing up in Dallas.
Oh yeah,
for the Lotto.
Texas Lottery, Star Trek, break the record, world
record. If you don't know, Texas Lotto is promoting a new scratch and sniff Lotto game, Star Trek themed. So is it Dallas Convention Center?
Dallas Convention Center. Saturday the
March 30th.
I don't know what time it is. We can post all that too somewhere here.
I think it's supposed to start around 1-ish.
But come in a Star Trek uniform.
In a Star Trek costume. I don't think it it doesn't necessarily have to be a Starfleet uniform. You could be
there's
Romulan, Klingon, Vulcan, Orion slave girls. Yes.
There was a list on Wicca. There's like 100 different races you could come in.
That was a giant tribble,
There you go. That would be funny.
That would be good. But yeah, they're going to attempt to break the world record, which currently is 1,084 people, which was set in London a couple years.
Info right here.
Only because I looked it up.
Okay.
That was in London a couple years ago at the.
No, that was like 6 months ago.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
It was in London.
It was right around the time Comic-Con was going on.
Oh, that's right, because they had that big Star Trek thing there.
It was like a 35th anniversary or.
Yeah, and they had the 5 captains there because I entered a thing to try and win tickets to go, and I, of course, didn't win. But so yeah, that's the record they're trying to. So yeah, trying to break the record for the most Star Trek characters in one place. The current record, like I said, is 1,084 people.
Useless information.
Useless. They're shooting for 1,200 people. Obviously, we want more. So
first,
I forgot. The Shat will be there. William Shatner will be there. Signing autographs, taking pictures, all that.
And supposedly
it is supposedly free.
Yeah, so
that's what they're saying. It's
I don't know if they're going to actually have pictures that he'll sign, or if you'll bring your own and he'll stamp
usually,
it. I don't know.
Well, what I've had in the experience when I've met like Sulu and whatnot, I didn't have a picture of Sulu, so I bought
their little
headshot.
Or whatever.
I bought the headshot for like $10, and then he signed it. And then like when I met Scotty, what I had was a postcard that had the old original series Enterprise on it, and he signed it, but he signed it upside down. But he signed it. But
can you prove he signed it?
It's his autograph. I was there. So
one of the things, like Jana's got that little helmet wherever it is that's signed by Roger Staubach, and one of the things is that we made sure that I got him, he was signing it, and we got pictures of him signing it and hugging Jana and everything, so we can prove, hey, here's the helmet, here's its signature, here's him signing it.
Well, I think it's pretty well known that Star Trek guys do conventions and.
Well, that's true. So maybe it's not as worth as much as it really should.
Yeah. Well, I like it because Scotty and Sulu were my 2 favorite characters. So, But
Okay, so moving on to
moving on.
The first weekend in April, which is the 5th through the 7th, is. So April 5th through 7th is what?
Chimera.
Chimera Con.
Chimera.
And that's in San Antonio. And I'm not sure exactly where it is. Is that one of the hotels downtown?
Yeah, I don't know where it's at.
But we're still waiting for press credentials to come back from them.
He can't say Chimera. It's hilarious.
It's Chimera. So then on, really, then there's a big break over a month, really. Didn't seem to be anything like in late April, early May. There is some things, but we've kind of decided not to do them. Like I said earlier about the haunted house cons, there's actually two in late April. I guess because they get ready for October later in the year. So,
oh, just read it.
so the 17th of May through the 19th is Texicon in Fort Worth. We have actually gotten a positive response back. So, yay! We'll get some there. Also, the 17th and 19th is the Dallas Comic Con in Dallas. So. I don't know.
We don't know yet.
If we get will they run two other cons, and we got turned down for their first con, which was Sci-Fi Con.
We somehow didn't meet their criteria.
So we're hoping to get in because, obviously we do comics, but not sci-fi. So if we get in, I think what I'm going to end up doing is going up Friday early, just get a hotel room, film Friday at like Texicon, then go early over to Dallas Comic Con and film Saturday, and then come back Saturday night.
Yeah. Dallas Comic Con, they're saying Brent Spiner, who's Data, Gates McFadden, who's Dr. Crusher, and Geordie LaForge, LeVar Burton are going to be there.
Also got Gates McFadden and Marina Sirtis interview or panel from Comic-Con. Go see that on our Facebook page or YouTube page.
Yes.
On May 23rd through the 26th is Galacticon 3, Battlestar Galactica Con in Houston at the James Brown. No, it's not James Brown. It's like the R. Brown Convention Center in Houston. And then also, simultaneously in the same building
is Comapalooza. Comapalooza.
So what's weird is we're going to try to have two crews, and we'll see, because Thomas Gonzalez, which is really the co-host for the show, which will be probably downgraded to a correspondent like I was doing at OwlCon. So what we're actually too that brings me to another. Well, let's finish here and then we'll come back for a second. And then June 20. Oh wait. Well
yeah.
I take that back.
About.
So after Comapalooza, but before Texas Comic Con is the 7th through 9th is the Superman celebration.
Yes, the 6th through the 9th.
6th through the 9th of June, and that's in
Metropolis, Illinois.
Right. And we're hoping to go to that. We're going to try to do a Kickstarter program and all that stuff. So, of course, we'll spam everybody on that. And then
has money.
June 21st through the 23rd is Texas Comic Con in San Antonio. And also that same weekend is Apollo Con in Houston, which is a sci-fi convention. So
that would be.
I don't know how we're going to do this yet, because I may go Friday to Texas Comic Con and then go Saturday to Apollo Con in Houston. I don't know. I mean, I'll just have to look at their schedules
Yeah,
because I don't think we can afford to send 2 crews,
probably not.
honestly. So, yeah. And then that's it for June. This is up till June. And then I can say that there is some stuff in July that we're going to do, stuff in August we're going to do, and then there's some stuff in September, which will be the third quarter, and we'll get, as we get closer, we'll send them requests for media passes. So, oh, okay,
Oh,
so
there's one in May that we just recently discovered, DwarfCon.
oh yeah, yeah, that's right. It's not even on here.
Yeah,
That was
that's
the like beginning of
it's
May,
like
the
the third, I believe, or fifth.
third through fifth
Yeah,
or something. I don't have my
first weekend in
calendar.
May, I believe.
We'll get
It's
that.
DwarfCon. It's mostly from what I've heard of it, it's mostly like RPG, tabletop gaming.
Yes, it's a gaming
Yeah, it's
convention,
a
and I think
gaming.
it's their first year.
No, it's like their second or third year. They've been around,
Okay,
maybe even third or fourth.
yeah,
I've
you're
seen
right.
the
It
flyers
is.
before, but I've never been able to attend it.
That's right.
Yes,
Yes, I forgot that because that was a late edition after it already
Yes.
posted it on our
Uh,
Facebook page.
Are you dwarf enough? Is their slogan? Are you
Oh.
dwarf enough? You gotta talk like a dwarf.
Okay, so DwarfCon, and we're gonna try to cover that as well. And then, but what I was gonna say was that we're looking for people for user submissions, whatever it is, cons. If you have a video game review, a movie review, gadget review, comic or graphic novel, or book, sci-fi book, whatever. Maybe it's the latest Star Trek or Star Wars book.
I think I'm gonna have to start a running review of the Dresden Files.
Anyways, so and then on top of that, not only user submissions, but we're looking for a female co-host that could be sitting right here because I'm not the normal person.
He's
I'm the
usually
guy
over
behind
there,
Yeah.
not here.
So
But you don't want to just sit here and look at my ugly mug all day. So
nobody wants to look at that.
I don't even like looking at my ugly mug. So
So, anyways, if you know any females or maybe you're female watching this, shoot us an email at afkshowaustin at either yahoo.com or gmail.com. Either way, it goes to the same place.
or on our Facebook page, message us on Facebook
Okay.
if you're female.
Now, I think that about wraps it up then for this show.
This show.
And we'll cover probably the exact same stuff in episode 2.
Maybe.
Just about.
Hopefully, we'll have a couple of comic reviews or movie reviews and stuff that we can throw in.
I mean, we could do things like, of course, the PS4 thing will be coming out. The Xbox 720 will be coming out. There's actually 2 or 3 video games that just came out this week or within the last week or so.
I know you want to get that Aliens.
Yeah, that's
Colonial
the
Marines.
Colonial Marines. That looks pretty awesome. The Artemis Bridge Simulator software. That looks pretty cool. You've got Crisis 3, which just came out.
So, this wrapping up this one. Like us on Facebook if you haven't already. Subscribe here on YouTube if you haven't already. And we will be around and we will see you. And you will see us. Well, maybe not
Well,
him,
maybe not me, but yeah.
me and someone else. So, see ya.